A devastating series of events are on the horizon for some of soap's finest, as some are left fighting for their lives, while others come to terms with revelations that blow their world apart. Sarah Platt is stunned when Lydia Chambers claims to be having an affair with Adam Barlow in Coronation Street, while Vinnie Dingle and Liv Flaherty prepare to tie the knot in Emmerdale. EastEnders, meanwhile, sees Ciara Ponessa and Gray Edkins come to blows, and let's just say that devastating consequences ensue. But whose life is on the line in the aftermath of the showdown? Over in Hollyoaks, John Paul McQueen makes a huge mistake, one which someone else gets the blame for. Another unmissable week awaits in the land of soap, and here's all you need to know about what to expect. Coronation Street. 1. Sarah is confused when she receives a call on Adam's phone from the hotel, informing her they've found a lady's watch from his last visit. Lydia, meanwhile, stirs, claiming to have spent the night with her married ex. Sarah tells Lydia about the watch, and upon searching through Adam's receipts, she finds one from an expensive lingerie shop in London. With the story starting to piece together, Sarah confronts Lydia, who claims she's having an affair with Adam. Adam, stunned, tells Sarah Lydia is lying. But who will Sarah believe? 2. Abby, struggling to contain her emotions, tells Sally that she cheated on Kevin, before pleading with her to keep shtum. Sally refuses to make such a promise, prompting Abby to leave her a message. Abby then takes a call from Sally, unaware that her phone has connected to the Bluetooth speaker in the camper van. Kevin, having heard their conversation, reels. 3. Linda suggests to Chesney that it might be better if Joseph came to live with her in Portugal. Chesney, however, disagrees, ordering her out of the house. Linda, however, asks Joseph outright if he'd like to come and live with her. Gemma and Chesney, meanwhile, discuss ways to ensure Joseph's happiness. Joseph listens from the stairs and misconstrues, before announcing that he wants to live with Linda. 4. Tracy brags to Jenny and Stu about the fine wine tasting experience Ken got her. Stu is taken aback by her rudeness, thinking she ought to be taken down a peg or two. Dev, meanwhile, has been given cheap wine by mistake, so Stu buys it off him and carefully steams the labels off the cheap bottles and the expensive bottles meant for Tracy. Afterwards, he drops the case of wine round to number 1, making out it was delivered to the wrong house and heads off, grinning to himself. Tracy sets out the bottles and invites Steve and Mary to join her for a tasting session, but they all struggle with the disgusting selection of wines on offer. 5. Amy and Jacob share a stolen kiss and ultimately agree to carry on seeing each other in secret. 6. Max approaches Daniel in the cafe and apologizes for all the grief. Afterwards, he asserts that he'll be returning to school next week. How will Daniel take the news? 7. Craig starts work at Underworld and does his best to appear upbeat for Faye's sake. But after his first shift in packing over, Faye can see how unhappy he is, even though he paints on a smile for her benefit. EastEnders. 8. Ciara fails to listen to Whitney's advice to stay away from Gray, as he races over to number 1 when he receives an urgent call from the killer. He's convinced he can get Gray to admit the truth, but the situation soon becomes heated, and one life is left hanging in the balance as a result. But whose? 9. Phil has a go at Kat for flirting with Henry, but the two's attention is soon elsewhere when Tommy is beaten up by bullies. Kat realizes Phil knew Tommy was being bullied, and she rails at him for keeping it from her. But as they have it out, she realizes what she stands to lose and thus pops the question. 10. Suki approaches Honey, desperate for her to move Stacy and Eve's van from outside the Minute Mart. A hapless Honey tries to be fair, but the women continue to try and outsmart each other. 11. Ben berates Phil for telling Tommy to man up. 12. Kim tells Pearl's school that she's leaving because she can't afford the fees, but she's encouraged to have Pearl apply for a scholarship. Howie suggests that Kim make a video, and as she prepares to do so, he pops around with professional video equipment, leaving Patrick convinced that he's got a crush on her. 13. Honey attends her performance review with Mr. Lister, but she's taken aback when he wants to get the drinks in. She later reveals to Jay that she feels uncomfortable, but soon devises a way to use the situation to her advantage. 14. Vinny gets robbed by some youths as Dottie and Stacy watch on. Emmerdale. 15. Liv is delighted when Vinny reveals he knows of a registrar in Daventry who is willing to bend the rules. The guilt soon sets in, however, as the couple wonder if they're going the right thing in keeping their wedding plans a secret. But Vinny is stunned when a spot has opened up, and thus wastes little time in asking Liv if she wants to get married tomorrow. 16. Mandy and Chaz hear the end of a conversation between Vinny and Liv, and jump to the wrong conclusions. Chaz reckons Liv is back on the booze, which results in some friction between Liv and Mandy. With drama aplenty, Vinny and Liv settle on a decision, as they pack their overnight bags and leave for Daventry. The Dingles, however, are concerned when they find out that the pair have vanished. Vinny, meanwhile, is torn when he sees the many messages left on his phone. Will he and Liv go through with tying the knot? 17. Marlon finds out about Pierce's death via the Houghton courier, and he readies himself to tell Rona. But Rona admits she already knew. However, she's uneasy about telling him the truth about Marcus. Marlon surprises her with a romantic dinner, which prompts Rona to come clean, but will she spill the beans about Marcus before he arrives in the village? 18. Jacob doesn't want to be alone, and thus he asks Chloe to spend the night with him. He ultimately comes to regret what happened between them. Kerry, meanwhile, thinks Chloe spent the night with Noah, but Noah has no idea what she's talking about, that is, until Chloe tells him the truth. She apologizes as Noah confronts Jacob, but is this the end of their relationship? 19. Charity bites her tongue as Chaz ridicules her ideas for the Woolpack. 20. Amelia spots a bruised Noah and takes a chance by offering to go for a walk with him. Hollyoaks. 21. DeMarcus confides in Leah about what's on his mind. Leah offers to help him, and soon enough, they break into the school. DeMarcus and Leah find alcohol in the caretaker's closet, and decide to have some fun. Afterwards, John Paul uncovers a frightening scene. 22. Saul finds out that he's been demoted to police officer, and Grace is far from pleased when he turns up to her party in his new uniform. Grace admits to Martine that she's worried about being with Saul now he's a police officer, and Saul gets some friendly advice from his replacement, Zoe. 23. Maxine tries to bring Warren back to reality. Warren, however, ends up snapping at her. After some harsh words from Joel, however, Warren decides to come clean to Maxine about how much pain he's truly in. 24. Sally organizes a Keep Fit competition for the students over half-term, and Olivia recruits a reluctant John Paul to do some promotion. As they march around the village, John Paul gets hit on by a stranger. Later, Olivia reaches her 20,000 steps whilst John Paul slacked off. 25. A text message reminds Mercedes of another impending visit from social services and she scrambles to find someone to take care of Bobby while she attends an interview.